My name is Rebecca Partridge. I am 22 years old, and I have been riding horses since I was about 4 years old.
Rub my back. Huh? Stick together. Hi. Hi.
So when I started at CU, the first 2 years I was at school, my parents didn't let me take a horse up to Colorado because it was expensive and they weren't sure that I had the time for a horse and all of those factors. But over the summer, I begged my father, and Jack kind of fell into our lap. My mom tried him and I tried him, and we loved him because he was super sweet. He didn't know a whole lot, but that was okay because I wanted to take up something that I could ride and train and just have fun with, basically, and establish a relationship with. I ride 6 days a week when I can, and if you don't, it's difficult on both the rider and the horse because training gets forgotten really easily and you can get really rusty or unfit. And I just, you love them, so you have to go out to the barn to see them anyways and go give them carrots because you are their person and they are your horse. So because Jack was, he's still a youngster, but younger, he had a lot of basic training that needed to happen. He needed to learn to be submissive and supple and come round and, get his gaits better, his walk, trot, and canter forward, and teach him how to jump. That was exciting. But basically, my goal was to have him rideable for basically anybody. In the indoor arena, there are mirrors along the ends of each wall so that you can see your position in the dressage and how you're riding and stuff like that. But when it was super cold in Colorado, too cold to ride, I would let him run around in the indoor. And he used to always go and check himself out. He used to run up to the mirror and look at himself and make sure that he was pretty and think that was just great.
You're looking at yourself. Huh?
I'm Lynn R. Wolf, Professor Emeritus of Fine Arts from the University of Colorado. My grandson is photographing me as we talk about the artist's role in creating from natural forms such as the animals and specifically the horse. And I want to start out with a quotation from Ed Ainsworth, who says, "When the Almighty put hoofs on the wind and a bridle on lightning, he called it a horse." Favorite subject matter for painters has always been mankind, but the second important subject has always been the horse. Horses attract artists for several reasons, but one of them is the wonderful flare of the nostrils, the fire in the eye, the tail and mane, which in a running horse defines the wind. But specifically the crewing of rhythm is from the repetition of the wonderful curve of the neck, the fullness of the belly, the sculptured quality of the rump.
My mom has been around horses her entire life and has been riding them since she was also very young. So we've always shared the passion of horseback riding, but high school was difficult for me because horses are my mom's life.
Well, like trying to get him, he's got some, he's very muscly, this horse, so trying to flip him is, I know.
they take over her entire being. Basically, if she can't ride, she gets very frustrated and kind of flustered. So going through hard times in high school, I would want my mom to basically pay attention just to me, and it was never that. I felt sometimes that she loved the horses more than she loved me, which was hard. You come to learn that it's just a different way of life. I actually took about 6 months off of riding in high school because I got fed up with all of it. And I think that was good because it allowed me to go back and refine that passion. And my mom and I are super, super close. And, because horses are her life, I have something to talk to her about. We have something to relate about.
This is an exhibit from the University of Nebraska State Museum of a mesohippus, in other words, a fossil three-toed horse that roamed the prairie, about the size of a dog. It has a background of low-relief sculpture depicting the way the horse looked in real life. I should mention that there were no domestic horses in the New World until 1519, when Cortez brought 16 beautiful Arabian horses to Mexico. It's also true that 25,000 years ago, the first drawings of horses, which were done in the Altamira caves of Spain, were not domesticated horses, but rather a source of food for the people living at that time.
Sid is my mom's baby, champion horse. We've had him since he was 2. My mom broke and trained him.
So what's the hat for?
They look pretty. Actually, when there's bugs and stuff, it flies off.
My mom has basically won everything on him.
Very good.
He's very fancy movement. He looks like he has a Spanish walk, but not quite. He's a lover. He's a big dog. We always call him the big chocolate lab. Q is a 16-3 hand Oldenburg, same breed as Sid. His show name, Quickstep, when we got him, they called him Quantum Leap the 23rd or something like that. And my mom loves original show names. And so his registered name in Germany was actually Quickstep. So we decided to go with that because he was the one and only Quickstep. Yoda was actually my horse to begin with, and he is a 16-1 English thoroughbred who's a gray. He is extremely high maintenance and kind of neurotic and a little bit crazy, but usually the most talented ones are.
We're gonna jump there, come over.
He can jump the moon if you asked him to. He's an extremely talented athlete. And there is your winner. And crazy at the same time. He tries to bite you every time he can. You walk past him when he's in the stall and he pins his ears and tries to nip you and stuff like that. But if you're mean back to him, then he puts his ears forward and is like, oh, okay, hi, how are you? He's bizarre.
Some of the finest folk art ever produced was wood carvings of horses for carousels. This is not a carousel horse, but rather a rocking horse, a child's toy. I found it in the North Boulder Auction Mart. I find it interesting that it has glass eyes, a bit, a saddle, a mane of horsehair, and a tail of horsehair. And this is a running horse, and I think of it as a running horse is really poetry in motion. Years ago, I taught at the University of Hawaii and was greatly impressed with the beauty of the rainbows and the waterfalls, and I wrote my wife a poem which goes as follows. Flight of fancy, not at all. A rainbow and a waterfall, and most beautiful of all, a smiling face that holds in thrall my heart, my spirit, and my all.